Most runners don't get hurt because they're fragile. Most runners get hurt because they're not prepared enough for the runs. They don't have a good structure or a plan. Hi, I'm Dr. Dan Linick. I'm a physical therapist and I work with runners of all levels. I help them get out of pain, stay out of pain, and perform their best. So how do you structure your week? This is a topic I talk about with my runners all the time. When we're going through the rehab process especially, we are so particular about how we're going to organize their week. And this is going to vary really based upon your experience as a runner, what injuries you're dealing with, or even if you're not dealing with injury and you just want to feel better and have fresh legs and run at a higher level, this program is going to make or break that plan. So when I'm working with a beginner runner, the biggest things I think about are, okay, we need time to recover, and what are the goals, right? The goal for these individuals are to increase time under their feet, be able to gradually progress and build their mileage without getting beat up and run down. So a concept I want to go over first is stress, right? Running is a stressful event on our body. Even though it's a positive stress, it's still a stress. And we have to give our body times to recover in between each bout of running or exercise. And that includes good sleep. That includes healthy nutrition, giving yourself the fuel you need to recover, and then also managing stress with work, life, money, and other relationships and other things as well. So when I create these plans and we're sitting down and we're trying to map these out, we're planning typically 3 days a week of running, okay? We are building. We want the body to have time to regenerate the tissues, right? And so how do these runs look? Okay, for example, let's say I'm working with a runner and let's go a 5K distance, right? So a very common length for new runners and even runners in general, just 3 miles and that's it. So, we're going to break it down as a low and slow run 1 day a week, right? Maybe they're, for example, getting out there doing 4 or 5 miles. They're progressing their cardiovascular fitness, their zone 2 base. Okay, those are meant to be done at a much slower than race pace effort. Okay, and then the second type of run is more of a lower distance but faster pace, something a little closer to how they're going to perform on race days, right? We call those tempo runs, where maybe they're 30 seconds or so, a little slower than actual race pace. And then the third run is a quality run where we might do intervals or threshold type running and things like that. And I don't push that even with my individuals until later on, after they've done a race or a certain amount of time has passed under their feet. That's when I throw in some of the higher intensity and more quality type runs. Most beginner runners don't even need that. So most plans fail is because they're just going hard all the time, right? They go out there every single run thinking that they got to, it's got to be hard. They got to feel the heart rate go up. They have to mimic what they're going to do on race day, and that is not true at all. That's just going to burn you out. That's going to run you down. That's going to cause all these injuries that we see in runners. Okay, so if you can run 3 days a week, here's what I want you to do. You're going to do an easy run, 20 to 40 minutes, conversational pace. Run with a friend, run on the treadmill. Set it up that you are not pushing too hard. You're getting that zone 2, maybe pushing zone 3 a little bit, low and slow run in. This helps your body adapt to the demands of running. It's going to build a thicker, robust connective tissue system. Then you're going to do an easy run, okay? And that easy run is shorter distance, right? Maybe 2.5 miles, 3 miles, and you can follow that up with strides, or maybe even some gentle sprints after you're done. And then that third run is going to be your quality run, right? If you're a more advanced runner, or another kind of easy long run added on during the week just for increase of mileage. Okay, if you're doing a quality day, okay, these are some beginner safe options that I feel lower the risk of injury. Okay, and those options are hills. Okay, find a hill. It doesn't have to be the steepest hill, but something that you can run up 10 to 20 seconds. Okay, 6 to 8 repeats with a walk down recovery. Okay, that will get your heart rate up a little bit higher than just your flat running pace, and increase your body's ability to generate lactate and push that engine, and increase your efficiency of utilizing that energy systems. Another option are short interval runs. Okay, these are 6 to 10 repeats of 1 minute of kind of harder pace, not all out sprints, right? Faster than race pace, okay? And then 1 to 2 minutes easy recovery. Your recovery can be as long as you need to repeat that effort at the same intensity of the prior, okay? 6 to 8 intervals of that with 1 to 2 minutes of recovery. And then the third one is just a progression run, right? It's 20 to 30 minutes in total. And every 5 to 10 minutes, you're starting to go a little bit faster, and a little bit faster. You're gonna see the heart rate just kind of increase gently as you increase the amount of time on your feet. And it's kind of fun. You know, you're out there, you're just sort of not running steady state, you're going easy and getting faster and faster, almost similar to like a negative repeat style run. Okay, lastly, another big thing that I work with my runners with are progressions. Okay, how much are we progressing every single week over whatever period of time that we have working together? A rule of thumb that I have is, no more than a 5 to 10% increase at the most of mileage every single week. Or you can even look at it as like a bigger cycle of weekly or monthly. And I think that most runners progress too much too soon, because the problem is our cardiovascular system, our heart and lungs, our breathing are going to progress much faster than the adaptations we see in the musculoskeletal system, right? Our muscles, tendons, ligaments, and bones, right? They adapt much slower. So that's where things like tendonitis, bone stress injuries, plantar fasciitis, things like that come in, because, hey, I feel great runs, I'm gonna increase my intensity or frequency or duration, and then my body can't recover, right? So 5 to 10% every single week or bi-weekly change only. And then the other thing I think about too is like taper weeks. It's okay to take every 4th week to like lower your volume, give your body that week to like lower that stress, recover, rebuild. Then you start to build back up again. You'll see these sort of cycles where you start to get maybe a little bit tired, you're realizing it's harder to hold that pace, and take a taper week. Use those as signs to slow down and take that week off. And you have to map that out in your training cycle for a run. And of course, the last big thing is strength. Where does strength fit in to your program? Okay, again, it's going to vary based upon skill and experience, but for beginner runners, 3 days a week of running, 2 days a week of strength training are perfect and enough frequency for you to see the changes. You can strength train on days off, and you can also strength on days after you do an easy run, okay? Where you're not out there that long and you feel your legs are fresh, like you can go home and either later that day or right after you run, do some gentle strength training. It doesn't have to be that high intensity interval training or high intensity strength training to get stronger. It could just be a couple simple exercises to increase, strength in your quads, glutes, hamstrings, and calves, and that's simply enough. If you're running 4 days a week, you're a more experienced runner. Again, you want to have your strength days after your easy days, on separate days, and just on your long run when you're out there for more time, like those are days I would not recommend strength training. Give your time that body to recover. And those are the big things, right? So just to recap, it's a lot of information in this video. Is like 3 days or 4 days a week of running is all you need to improve your times, get faster, and keep yourself healthy for long-term running. In the link below, you'll see a link to join our app. It's a brand new community I started here on our Resolve Running Club. And it's $39 a month, and you get access to unlimited amount of running plans. These plans are growing. I've added in some strength training. If you're a new runner or you're dealing with an injury, there are plans to help you get back to running with fitness walking, a return to run progression. There are strength plans in there. And like I said, this is ever growing. What's cool about it is there's also a community. There's discussion boards, and we want people to feel as though they can be part of a group, have a structure, plan, get plans, and achieve their goals without feeling run down or beat up. So thank you guys for listening. Hope to see you in my Resolve Run Club.